YouTube theologians, Pastor Wolfmother here. I was just sending out the Wednesday whatnot. It is, okay, it's Saturday, but it's the, weekend whatnot. And I put the verse at the top, Mark 3:27, which is the verse for tomorrow. It's the parable of the strong man, or let's call it the parable of the stronger man. And I realized that it's one of these places where the parable is a riddle and needs to be explained. And I started to write out the explanation of it, and I said I would just maybe rather make a video of it. So let's just look at the Mark text. There's 3 places it comes up, and we'll look at the other 3 places in a little bit. But it's just one verse in Mark, 1 verse in Matthew, 2 verses in Luke. This little parable of Jesus, and it's in the context of Jesus casting out a demon. In fact, I really like the Mark version because it's so front-loaded. It's a pivotal text in the Gospel of Mark because there's so much of Jesus fighting the devil in the book of Mark. I mean, in all of the Gospels, but especially in the Gospel of Mark, it's one of the strongest themes. And this comes right at the beginning, explaining what Jesus is doing. Now, there's a number of characters in this parable, and that's what we got to do the work on, is identifying who the characters are. So Jesus says, but no one can enter a strong man's house. So we have the strong man, and he has a house, and in that house are his goods. So strong man, house, and goods. No one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he, so who is this he? He is the opposite of the no one. This is the someone. And this someone is apparently the one who wants to plunder the strong man's goods. And it says he has to first bind the strong man. And then indeed he may plunder his house. So let's get another color, orange, for the plunder. Let's get the plunder in there. Plunder, okay? So the picture is of a house, and there's a treasure chest in that house. And there's a guy who's guarding that house with his shield and helmet and his sword, and he's a strong man, and no one is going to come and take that stuff unless he first binds the strong man. Now, when Jesus tells this parable, when we look at the context, what we realize is that this plundering of the strong man's goods is, in fact, what Jesus is doing. And it turns out that Jesus is the strong man binder. Jesus is the stronger one who, in fact, binds the strong man. And this strong man is the devil himself. He's the strong one, and no doubt he is strong, but Jesus is the one who's stronger. And his goods, the goods and the plunder of his house, that's you and I. That's the saints of God. That's the elect. That's the ones that Jesus rescues. So Jesus is giving us this picture. We are like enslaved in the devil's house, and he's guarding us so that we can't be taken away. But Jesus, the stronger one, comes and binds the strong man so that his house may be plundered. And this is the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God, the church, is the plunder. Jesus coming to rescue us as the strong man. Now, in Matthew, it's very, very similar. So we have the same. We have the strong man's and his house, and we have his goods to be plundered unless he first binds the strong man. And so that he, that one, is Jesus who's coming there. And let's just take a look at it in Luke as well. When a strong man, and Luke expands on it a little bit, gives us a fuller example of this riddle of Jesus. When a strong man, fully armed, guards his own palace, his goods are safe. Now, this, just to take that as a reference to the unbelieving world, and how their lives are in so many ways at peace. But why are they at peace? Because they're being bound by the devil. But then look at what Jesus is called here in Luke. It's not just he. When one stronger than he attacks him, this he, him, that's the devil, and overcomes him, he takes away his armor in which he trusted and divides his spoil. So this is what Jesus does. He attacks him, and he overcomes him. Here's the verbs for Jesus, the pronouns for the devil. And he takes away his armor, the devil's armor, in which he trusted, and divides his spoil. Now, what is the armor that the devil trusts in? We have a few hints at it, but I think the best verse for this is this Hebrews 2:14 and 15 that talks about how the devil holds us in bondage through the fear of death. That's one of the devil's great weapons. One of the ways that he is armed to guard us and so that we are captured in his kingdom. But Jesus comes and he overcomes him and he takes away his armor. One other thing about this text, this is this binding of the strong man that's here. That's a key for us when we read Revelation chapter 20, and it talks about the devil being bound for 1,000 years. And we say, is there any other place in the Bible that talks about the binding of the devil? And we see it here in this little parable that Jesus gives. All right, so beautiful text, the parable or the riddle of the strong man and the stronger man. It might be funny that Jesus is the one who's plundering. It's like Jesus as the pirate who's plundering, but when we recognize that it's the devil who's being plundered and we who are being rescued, then we rejoice in this text. God be praised. Talk to you soon.